All right. Take that music, turn it down. You kids and your rock and roll music is just not fun. Good evening, folks. My name is Bill Camarada, and you are watching Bill's Box of Sound. It's the live stream for a Saturday night. It's 10 o'clock here in the Eastern Time Zone, and man, what a week it's been. But more than anything else, what a freaking day it's been. Oh, um, first of all, sad news. Let's get that out of the way. Just found out that Tom Verlaine, um, most popular for being a member of the band Television, passed away today. After a short illness, he was in his 70s. If you are not familiar with this record or this band or this guy right here, whoop whoop whoop, there it is. Hey Tom. Uh, if you haven't heard this, go online, listen to this to two songs specifically. Marquee Moon and Friction. Those songs come right after each other on this album, but and every single song on this album is fantastic. But yeah, this album came out and just blew everybody away. Also, if you have the CD of this album, I I believe the version of Marquee Moon on the CD is just a tiny bit longer than it is on the album. They followed up that with a second album, Adventure, and then many years later, they made a couple of reunion albums that came out on, I believe, Capitol or Rhino. Um, and also, I thought I had a copy of Tom Verlaine's first solo album, um, or The Dreaming. But the only Tom Verlaine solo album I have is The Wonder, which is given to me by my good friend John Wasilko. And pulled all these out because I'm going to be listening to them again over the next few days. Uh, and it's sad, just sad. All these punk heroes dying on us. This sucks. But rest in peace, Tom, wherever you is. And you know, we're just trying to educate people, bring to your existence and your your knowledge some great music that you may or may not know about. So that's that news. Now the other big news of the day uh was the auction on Norman Maslov's site. Norman Maslov, aka Mazzy, he's had a few different auctions on his channel. Um, I don't think the Coleman collection was the first of the auctions he had, but it was his biggest. It was several hours, but Yeah, he's done auctions a few times before, and, he had a large selection of records. Well, he still does. A gentleman a friend of his has entrusted him with selling this guy's record collection who is in his, mid to later 70s, and, the main push of today's auction on Mazzy's site was jazz, mostly, OJC, original jazz classics, which was, reissues by the Fantasy Group, which included the Prestige labels, Riverside, Contemporary, all that stuff that's owned by Kraft Records now. Um, they put out a solid wealth of great jazz reissues throughout the, I think the '70s and, also the '80s, and the records are mastered well. They sound great. Um, and, now they're all out of print, of course, because Kraft is doing their own thing. Every once in a while, they do something nice and smart and make, things available to people, but, uh, the one steps and the limited editions that Kraft puts out, in my opinion, they're not handled very well. But so that's just my opinion. But anyway, the main thrust of Mazzy's auction today was these OJC records, and they are in demand because they were records that were at the time produced cheaply but sounded fantastic, and they still sound fantastic. Um, so he did this auction. And when it started out, it wasn't really an auction. By the way, good Saturday evening to you. It is time to open up the Diet Coke and pour it into here. Yes, indeed. Oh, let's go to the top. So you know what that means. Get yourself a little bit of black velvet and stick it on in there. Oh yeah, a little dab will do you. By the way, Roman is not here at this point in time. I don't know if he'll be showing up this week. He's out somewhere with his mom, so that's that. And when they get home, if it's before 11 o'clock, I have a feeling Roman will be running down here, and it's a possibility that we may get a visit from a superhero. Anyway, back to this auction. So when Mazzy did auctions before, he would basically have a group of records, like say, here's 5 records by Cannonball Adderley, and he'd run through them, or here's 5 albums by the Byrds, or by the Beach Boys, or by the Beatles, or whomever. And and he very conservatively priced these things, and he says this is going to go starting at $60 shipped to anybody in the USA. And the bidding starts now. And he had Rob the Waxed moderating for him, and he does a great job of that. Excuse me. And they would go on for a few minutes until the uh, bid slowed down, and then they pretty much kind of said, "Okay, we're going to cut it off in 10 seconds." And the only problem with auctions, and I experienced this myself when I did my own auction of a friend of mine's records, is that I speak now, and people who are watching this, no matter where you are in the country or in the world, you may see this a half a second later. You may see this 2 seconds later. You may see this 10 or 15 seconds later because the internet is not always instant. Okay. Um, so sometimes there were confusions, and this is from my own experience. There were confusions as to who bid what, and I would say, "Okay, uh, Smojo has bid $80. I'm going to proclaim them the winner." And then 2 seconds later, somebody else would say, "No, I bid $100." And um, I had my wife Judy uh, moderating my auction, and we did everything we could to make sure that it went to the highest bidder and that we cut it off at a reasonable point. We had a set time that we took to do these auctions. So Mazzy starts the auction today, and he goes, "Okay, here's a bunch of, let's just say, Cannonball Adderley records, and I'm going to sell these for $60, including shipping. Go ahead, put it in the chat room." And somebody would jump into the chat room and type that in, and the first person to claim it got it. That's what was different about his auction, quote unquote auction today. It was mostly a set price sale when it started out. It was not an auction. So what started happening is Mike Esposito from the In Groove, he was watching this because he's a big jazz collector and he's got the money to spare to buy these jazz records. He was on top of it and he was bidding and he was getting a large number of these, almost every single one. Boom, Mike from the In Groove. Boom, Mike from the In Groove. Boom, Mike from the In Groove got this one, that one, that one, that one, that one. And it was pissing people off. Um, I was trying to bid on a couple of these things. And the thing that got me upset is that Mazzy would say the price, and I already had like the name of the artist or the name of the bundle. And as soon as he said it, and it's like, "Okay, I'll buy it for that much." So I type the number and hit send, and I look up at the screen, and Mike from the In Groove had had come in already and beat me. And as I continued to watch, I saw Mike's bids come in before Mazzy even said the amount. Now, sometimes your image and your stream from YouTube can fall behind very, very, very slowly. You don't notice it, but you may start out like 5 seconds away, and you may end up later on like 10 seconds away. When you're in a situation like that, your best plan of action is to refresh your screen, refresh your browser, Command R on my Mac anyway. And generally, that will help to get you the quickest response and the most recent picture. Another thing that you can do is to make sure that the internet on your laptop or your desktop or whatever computer you're using is connected directly to the internet, not via Wi-Fi. Now, personally, I have both. I have a Wi-Fi connection, and I also have a direct connection to my router via an Ethernet cable. Give me the best of both worlds, or so I think. Um, but another thing is, Mazzy is in Seattle. Mike from the In Groove is in Phoenix, Arizona. He probably has a fiber connection. Plus, the chances are that his servers were very close to the servers that Mazzy's YouTube broadcast was coming out of. So, for the majority of these set sales, Mike from the In Groove was just snapping them all quickly. Okay, he wasn't just winning auctions because it wasn't an auction; it was a set price sale, and he was the first person to bid. Anytime that you've gone to an auction or seen an auction on TV, if you've never actually been to an auction, um, you'll see the first person to bid, the first person to bid. The first person to bid does not always get the sale, but if it's a set price and they say first person to grab this gets it, boom. Mike saw the opportunity and he grabbed that opportunity. And sad to say, a lot of people were ticked off about that because other people wanted these records as well. There was the time when, excuse me, um, good evening, Jim from Record Collector News in the chat room. If you want to chime in on the chat room, by all means, go ahead. So, um, as they went on, they kind of started changing rules a little bit. So they said, okay, we're going to give you the price, but don't bid right away. We're going to tell you what we're going to call this, and then you can type and put it in the chat room. So, say for example, it was a few albums by Cannonball Adderley with his brother Nat. And so he'd say, okay, this is $80. So, waxed. Here, I'll do my wax imitation. And if he were here right now, I think it might go a little something like this. Okay, you put in Nat, and then go ahead, enter. And all you people thinking you're funny, nobody's funnier than I am. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Master impersonator of the waxed there. So anyway, as things went on, and later on, they started doing actual auctions, and Mike didn't win all of them. He won a lot of them because he bid the highest and he bid repeatedly. He was very competitive with his bidding. So I say congratulations to Mike Esposito of the Vinyl Groove in Phoenix, Arizona. He made a haul today. And if you were watching, there's a good chance you got a really good education of what good jazz albums to look for in your in your uh, searches, in your crate digging, whatever you're doing. Uh, you got yourself a very good education. I saw a lot of albums where it's like, oh yeah, I know that record. I have that record, and it's wonderful. And they had Mazzy's pal, Jazz Shit Brooks, in there, and he was giving his views on the individual records. It was a lot of fun. So that that was crazy. And okay, and another thing contributing to this is there were at at most times around 300 or more people in on this auction. And a lot of them are bidding. They would announce something and a whole bunch of bids would appear, all the same. But the only one that got to win was the first one when they were doing the set sale prizes. So, you live and you live and you learn. But there's always good things that you can take away from this. And like I said, he showed a lot of good jazz records. I'm looking forward to the next auction that Mazzy, aka Norman Maslov, does. And there's that. And let's see. Hello, Chief Dancing Ostrich. She says, I found Expose's Exposure album on one of my memory cards. Almost thought I'd lost that one. Well, good. Good to hear that. It's wonderful when you think that you don't have an album and then you find it. I know that, like I said, I thought that I had Tom Verlaine's first solo album. I remember the cover of him just going like this over the back of a chair, and it was like pink lighting all around him. It was a good album. All right, what can you do? What can you do? Other things that's going on. Let's see. Got a couple books this week. Um, let's see. Not only do I have the latest issue of Record Collector News that Jim distributes in record stores all around California and Nevada and other places. I've had this for a while though. This is just the most recent issue. Um, okay, here's something. I collect books about Frank Zappa. As you all know, I'm a big Frank Zappa fan. And I there's one book that that I've been trying to get for a long time, and I've wanted to get this book for so long, and I wanted this so bad that I found it at a library. I checked it out, and I was working an all-night shift at a radio station. I think this was about 1994 or 1995. And my main job at this radio station was to run the board and play the tapes for the all-night programs that were coming on and run the commercials at the proper time. So there was a lot of downtime. I took that book to the radio station. I used their copy machine and made photocopies of every single page in the freaking book because this book was out of print and I couldn't find it. What book is it? It's one of the very first biographies ever to come out about Frank Zappa, called No Commercial Potential: The Saga of Frank Zappa. Now, this is the second edition. This book first came out in, let's see here, I'll tell you in a moment. First came out in October of 1971, and the second version of it, which was called Then and Now by David Wally. And no, it's not Denny Wally, the guy who played slide guitar for Frank. Um, there was a second version that came out in June of 1980. Well, I was out looking for records and books and uh, half price books the other day. And you know what they say? Half price books, double price records. Found a copy of this for less than $5. It's a little dog-eared, but it's intact. It still has all of the errors that the book originally had, and I was so happy to get a copy of it finally for my own purposes. Now, people have asked me to do a video of all of my Zappa related books. I will do that someday. I just have to round them all up because they're in different places all over the house. But I was very happy to find that. And I'm gonna be talking about another book in a minute, but not a Zappa book. And let's see, I Homer. He wants to know, are you excited for the Mud Club in Munich reissues? Oh, yes, I am. I have ordered mine. Um, I have ordered the 3 CD set from Amazon because I know I'll get it on release day, most likely. And from the Zappa store on Zappa.com, I have pre-ordered the Munich 3 record set orange vinyl and also the 2 record set Mud Club on clear green vinyl, or it looks like Coke bottle vinyl. And I don't know if there's anything else that comes out with that. Um, and oh, you do have that book. Well, yeah, you're a Zappa collector, Jim. I know that. So good for you. Um, I was hoping to find the first edition to see how many more mistakes were in that version than the second version called Then and Now, because I remember reading that from a library back when I was in high school. But these things happen. And wait a second, what's this? Pleasure Den of the Absurd says I just finished my first book this year. Next year, I plan on reading another. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Thank you. Thank you. We're here all week. Anyway, and Quint has a thing to say. He says that Mazzy auction was a joke. Uh, I wouldn't say it was a joke. I mean, there are ways to be upset and frustrated as for the way it went. I mean, it was too successful for its own good, and poor Mazzy's only one guy. Having done an online auction via YouTube before, it's a lot of work. So, um, I I'm not mad at Mazzy. I don't pity Mazzy. It's a lot of work, and I don't have a hat to take off to him, uh, to applaud him for it, but, hey, he did the best that he could do. So, uh, so speaking of books, for some reason or other, I started listening to my magazine albums, and, I don't have it, in my hands, but, there is a collection called Raise and Hail, RAYS ampersand HAIL of, the best of magazine. It's a CD that, came out in the UK, um, and it's a real good collection. And, I'm listening to, the song, which is, the first track. Nope, I think it was their first single, but it's the 3rd, song on side 1 of their first album, Real Life, Shot by Both Sides. Um, and it just sounded different. And I was trying to find out what's different about this version than the version on the Raisin Hail Best Of. And I really couldn't find out that much about magazine. Went to Wikipedia, looked at Howard Devoto's Wikipedia page, tried to look at Howard Devoto's um, official page, which is not really there because I think Howard Devoto, lead singer of magazine, has pretty much retired from the music business. He was in the Buzzcocks with Pete Shelley, and "Shot by Both Sides" was co-written by Howard Devoto and Pete Shelley. They have album after that was called Secondhand Daylight, another great album. Um, Feed the Enemy, Rhythm of Cruelty, um, Talk to the Body, I Wanted Your Heart, and of course, it's got probably my favorite magazine song, Permafrost, which is a brutally frank, song, as the day stops dead at the place where we're asked, "I will drug you and F you on the permafrost." I mean, that's kind of an offensive lyric, but the way that he sings it is just so damned sexy. If I had Howard Devoto's voice, I think women would just love me, and and if I was a singer. But that's the songs were great, and the playing was great. Dave Formula's keyboards, the guitar of John McGeoch, which I'm pretty sure that's how I pronounce his name. He was also in Public Image Limited for a while. Um, and then there's another album of theirs, The Correct Use of Soap. Had that for a while. I do really enjoy the band magazine. And there is also a live album, pardon me, called Play. And this has the best version of Parade on it. This takes the version of Parade that was the studio version and just blows it away. So I was trying to find out more about magazine by scouring the web, and I was just having a hard time. So went on Amazon and searched, and I found a book. It's out of print, and it's a book that came out in the UK called Magazine: The Biography by Helen Chase. And it was like 5, $8, 10 or $11 with delivery. And I thought, why not? Let's take a gamble. And this is really good. Lots of pictures in this book of the band. Um, it's got let's see here. Where's some of those other things? Candid pictures taken on a U.S. tour. other things. There's Howard singing, and let's see, promo pictures of the band on tour, things like that. Um, and then when they had a reunion tour in 2009, pictures of that as well. So I was just starting to read the introduction. I'll read you a little bit of the introduction right here. It says, so if you don't know who Magazine is, it says Magazine was formed by Howard Devoto in 1977 and brought together some of the finest and most innovative musicians of the era of the core lineup of Devoto, John McGeoch, Barry Adamson, Dave Formula, and John Doyle. Original and groundbreaking, Magazine had its roots in punk, but had a greater emphasis on lyrical content whilst combining elements of avant garde pop, funk, and rock. Although achieving critical success in their 4 years together, commercial success largely eluded them. However, Magazine were and are a greatly respected and highly influential band, and their music remains fresh and relevant today. I agree. So, um, I'm going to enjoy reading this book. Oh, I also have Devoto's first solo album. Let me grab that real quick because it's right past Devo in my collection. Uh, let's see. Come on. You know where it is. You know where it is. Okay. Found it. And it's water damaged. A number of records in my collection are damaged because um, they were stored for a while and they were in a flood. So, but the record's still in great condition. And this is Jerky Versions of the Dream by Howard Devoto. Great single off of this called Rainy Season. And what's this? For some reason, I've got this sticker here, quality approved. And that's interesting. Okay. So that was that. I got that record. Another pause for the cause. Take a drink. Also, um, if you are enjoying yourself and you enjoy this, please click the like and subscribe buttons if you aren't already a subscriber. The good news is I'm over 4,900 subscribers, steaming towards 5,000. I will have a contest when I hit 5,000 subscribers. So if you're not a subscriber and you enjoy my videos and my live streams, please subscribe now. Okay. Now, what other stuff has been going on? Oh, uh, last week there was this thing where Mazzy, you're just causing all sorts of controversy, confusion. We gotta watch out for you, Maz. But no, through no fault of his own. Mazzy's been famous for not cleaning records. He got a humming guru, and he made a video about cleaning it with his friend, the archivist, and people were just losing their shit, especially Michael Fremer, because he says, "Don't put any chemicals in there." Oh wait, don't put any chemicals in there. The surfactant will not benefit your cleaning process. So, but you know what? It's all good because Mazzy did not claim to be an expert on the cleaning. He was just trying something new and doing what he was told is the right thing to do. So I say, once again, hats off to Mazzy, even though I'm not wearing one. Uh, and yeah, Mazzy Gate. There we go. There's a topic for you. Controversy in the vinyl community. Oh God. Oh yeah, I do wish I could play samples of the music, but the good thing is the majority of it is all on YouTube. You can just search for it. The name of the group is Magazine, and I'll go through the albums one more time, or just look up the compilation Raise and Hail or any of these albums, and check out some of these album titles. Real Life. We've got Secondhand Daylight and The Correct Use of Soap. There's one other album that I don't have that I got to seek out. It's called Magic, Murder, and the Weather. That was our last studio album. I want to get that as well. Okay. What's next on my list of things to talk about on the program? Um, the worst Zappa album. Have you seen my video with the survey of the worst Zappa albums ever, or better yet, the least liked Zappa albums? Um, it was a lot of fun. Ended up having 33 of Frank's albums, from the ones that got the least votes to the ones that got the most votes, which the most people say, I don't like that album. I like it the least. But I tried to explain why there is merit to all of those albums and what's great about Frank Zappa's music. It was a lot of fun. And I really do appreciate the people watching it. I know I've got like about 1,100, excuse me, 1,100 people watched it all already. And I bought one album this week. Hang on a second. I got that dry cough this week. Oh, I do apologize for coughing. Let's see. Hello, DJ Trish. Trish is in the house. And so is Vince. And thank you for watching that video. And good evening, Kevin. Good to see you as always. And Vince also says that he was just listening to Feeding the Monkeys at my Maison, which I almost played while I was doing this, but there were just so many records to deal with, but I'll eventually get around to it. And we also have a new comment from Dan B. New to your channel, Bill. Have been enjoying your live streams for a few months. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you very much, Dan. But anyway, the new album I got this week is by X Propaganda. Let me take this out of here so I can more properly show it to you. There. This album is The Heart is Strange by X Propaganda. And you're saying, wait a minute, wasn't there a band in the 80s called Propaganda? Yeah, and it had these two singers, Claudia Brucken and and Freitag. And Propaganda had two albums out. First one was called A Secret Wish, which, oh my God, this is a great record. Um, this is on the ZTT or Zang Tung Tum label, distributed by Island Records back in 1983, I believe this came out. I've got both a UK and a US version of that album. And I've also got the remix album that came out with that, called Wishful Thinking. And this if you like the Propaganda Secret Wish album and you're not aware of this remix album, seek this out. You will be happy that you did. Oh my God. They also put out a second full-length album called 1, 2, 3, 4, which had almost largely different people on it. But the original producer, Steve Lipson, as well as people from the Zang Tung Tum creative team, Paul Morley and Trevor Horn, were also in for consulting on this album. And this is some great techno. They're concentrating more on songs and lyrics this time around, but there's a lot of electronics, some decent trumpet playing, um, live drums, and yes, some guitars, and lots of great synthesizer and keyboard programming. Was very happy to get a hold of that record, and I found out about it through the same guy who gave me this, John Wasilko. He played a song from that album on his mix of Trans Music Airwaves, which I've mentioned a couple of times. Trans Music Airwaves is a freeform radio show that is on Podomatic.com. Let me put that back up on the screen so you can see it real quickly. Boom. Podomatic.com. And it's the Trans Music Airwaves program. So he played a song from that, and I did not know that these two had gotten back together with the original creative team of Propaganda to make a new album. And yeah, this is good stuff. I really enjoyed it. A very good progression. Came out in 2022. So I had to find out on Amazon now. The LP only contains what is it? How many songs? Contains one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8 tracks. And this is about 40 some minutes long. But if you buy it on Amazon, it includes the download of the entire album, plus remixes and instrumental versions of all the songs. Very cool. So, been enjoying that in the car as well. Let's see here. And let's see, but another interesting thing that that I saw people talking about today was podcasts about the vinyl community. They're saying, "Oh, it's a brand new idea. We're going to make podcasts about vinyl collecting." Podcast about the vinyl community and the collective videos that are on there. And I'm saying to myself, wait a second. There used to be a long time ago a podcast called The Box of Sound, done by yours truly. It's no longer around there. You can probably still find the downloads on Apple Podcasts. I should start that thing back up again, but I gotta do the work. I gotta do the work. Oh, hey, I like this. Feeding the monkeys is one of my fave raves. Cool, Jim. I like it. Everybody's got a different favorite. And yes, thank you, DJ Trish, for giving me a thumbs up. So yeah, hit that like button. And Quint Davis says, "Do you like Dweezil?" Let's see. Do I like Dweezil? Did I already put all those records away? Oh, good. No, I didn't. Come on. If you've ever been here before, Quint, you know that I am a Dweezil fan. And here's his first record. It's called My Mother's a Space Cadet with Cute Little Moon on vocals. So, and let's see here. Oh, thank you so much, Kevin. Yes, you and I have talked quite a bit about about the podcast in the years past, and ah, also a 3 record set called Return of the Son of, which is really cool. 3 record set of the Zappa Play Zappa band. And I'm trying to get vinyl copies of the Z album. Z is the group that Dweezil had with Amit. So that was cool as well. Yeah, the feeding the monkeys is a little bit different, a little bit more abstract of the synclavier stuff, but still really good stuff. And if you are a big Zappaholic, you will recognize a couple of things from some soundtracks of some of the videos that Frank put out back around 1984 or so. So that's very nice. Okay, so what else is going on? That's about everything on my list. Wow. What else is new in your world? Hmm. Right about now, we could use Roman coming in and and jazzing up the podcast, but he is not home at this time. He is out with his mom, like I said before, having a good time, I think. And you never know. At this hour, he may have fallen asleep or something. But yeah, he's my grandson. Love him to death. I love that guy. All right, what else is new? What else is new? Already talked about Tom Verlaine. Oh, I pre-ordered the Kristen. What was her name? I pre-ordered this album. Let's see. Kevin Gray of Coherent Mastering. He's got a new label, and he's got a new record called the new album is by Kristen Evans, I think. Wait, hold on. Kristen Edkins, that's it. The name of the album is Shapes and Sound. It's available for pre-order on Acoustic Sounds, as well as Music Direct and many other popular um, uh, online places. Um, I pre-ordered that. Very excited about that release. New jazz recorded in an old jazz style. So once I get that, I will I'll report that. Oh, wait a second. We've got more comments. Saw Dweezil in 2008 when he was playing Zappa plays Zappa. One of the best shows. I've seen Dweezil with his playing his dad's music about 3 or 4 times. I also saw the band Z play once live in Cleveland, and and Kevin says my last show before the pandemic was Dweezil playing Hot Rat. That was my last concert before the pandemic. Well, great minds think alike. You just found a promo copy of The Great 28 by Chuck Berry. That's a great compilation. It's the real recordings of Chuck Berry's hits, the originals, not the re-recordings that he did. But yeah, that's a great find, Vince. Awesome. Um, yep. Another vote, a thumbs up for the Zappa Play Zappa Hot Rats show. So, how many Zappa records do you have? Never enough. Okay. I've got all of the official records. Plus I have all of the official albums on CD. I also have almost every single iteration of the albums on CD. I've got reissues of stuff. Like for example, and I showed this last week. I showed this last week. I I've got the original version of the Grand Wazoo, and I've got the new version of the Grand Wazoo, and I will hopefully be doing my shoot out of this soon. Because I did listen to all of those records. I listened to both Waka Jawaka and Grand Wazoo back to back, and very interesting. Both versions are great. Okay, so if you're trying to debate whether to go out and pay the extra bucks for an original or get this new one, if you get the new one, you won't be disappointed. Trust me. Yes. And Let's see. Oh my god. Whoa! Yeah, Kevin's out in Wyoming, and he's gonna have 1 degree below Fahrenheit tonight. That is cold. And what a show it was. And he says, Chess Records Chuck Berry is the best Chuck Berry. I very much agree. And let's see, doing any DJing this year, Bill? At this point in time, I don't have anything booked. The last thing that I did, I believe it was in September, I did a wedding. And I thought I was going to be doing a party at the end of February, but it's not that kind of party if you don't want to talk about. Uh, and I'm not doing it. So right now, nothing. So all right, Vince, he's showing his freak flag. He's waving it high. 114 Zappa releases. I have not counted how many Zappa releases I have. And I can, well, let's see. I can count how many if you really want. And oh, good, you got to hear the 5.1 on Waka Wazoo. I heard it. Send more Chuck Berry. We need more Chuck Berry. Oh yeah, we love it. All right. Well, let's see what I can do here. And turn off this light here. And let's see. Over here, we've got my complete collection of Zappa records right over there. So I'm going to reach over here and going to start counting. Now, this is going to be counting duplicates and bootlegs as well. So let's go, because I know that the CDs that I have of Frank is in the hundreds, definitely about 500, because I've also got a lot of bootlegs that were downloaded off of the internet that I did not pay for, and I'm also going to be doing a video about Zappa bootlegs sometime in the near future. But let's go here. All right, let's start with, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 31, 32, 33, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42, 4, 6, 8, 50, 2, 4, 6, 8, 60, 2, 4, 6, 8, 70, 2, 4, 6, 8, 80, 2, 4, okay, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 9, 100, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's 106 vinyl releases. I'm counting all multi-record sets as one. And certified. Thank you, Trish. You can be hilarious. Let's see. Do you like the Dueling Zappa Band? The Dueling Zappa Band. What is that, Quint? What is that? What is the Dueling Zappa Band? I'm going to wait and have you respond to that while I take another sip of Diet Coke and turn my side light back on so I have a little bit better lighting here. There you go. More Diet Coke, more Diet Coke. Just for the taste of it. Diet Coke. All right. Only got a few minutes left here, so let's get on this. What is the dueling Zappa band? That's what I want to know. Zappa dee doo da. Yeah, I think I've got more Zappa than I've got everything else. I mean, I've got like over 50 or 60 each of Miles Davis and John Coltrane. I got a lot of Residence records, although I don't have all of them. I'm not that thrilled with the recent year Residence stuff. I got all the Steely Dan records. What else do I have a lot of? I have almost all 25 Sparks albums. And oh, Sparks announced that they're coming out with a new album in May, and they have re-signed with Island Records. That's exciting. So I'm happy for that. So come on, Quint Davis, are you out there? What is the dueling Zappa band? Are you talking about Dweezil and Amit? Because both the Zappa band and Dweezil Zappa's band are okay. Okay. The Zappa brothers are not dueling anymore. They've kissed and made up. Everything's cool. So you have multiple copies of each Steely Dan album. Okay. So Vince, I hope you're buying the new Bernie Grundman remastered versions of the Steely Dan albums because Bernie has done some magic, especially on Countdown to Ecstasy, which I just happen to have right here. Here's the I got this the original. I got the new Analog Productions version of it, but but I'm just amazed at how much better my old school sounds. When Skunk Baxter plays, the solo on My Old School, you can hear that amplifier as well as his playing, it's just fantastic. 3 copies of each Lee Dan album, damn, you must have all the quadraphonic versions too, don't ya? I hope so. Okay, so, you're saying Zappa plays Zappa in the Zappa band? Yeah, Zappa plays Zappa is now just the Dweezil Zappa band, and the Zappa band is a bunch of people who mostly used to play in Frank Zappa's band. Currently, excuse me, it consists of Mike Keneally on guitar and keyboards and vocals, um, Robert Martin on keyboards, horns, and vocals, um, Ray White on guitar and vocals, Scott Tunis on bass, um, or wait, if Scott's not in the band right now, Jamie Kime is in there, um, and Joe Travers, the Weltmeister, on drums, and also uh, Joe is playing in Mike Keneally's band, and hopefully they're going to be touring soon, as well as the Zappa band. So everything else is fine. Hey, Mooney the Looney, how you doing? I am doing fine. Good to see you. And folks, you know what? We've hit the last hour of our show. So I'm about to put this mess to bed. And well, I had a great time. Hope you did too. Um, go listen to some music. Be nice to yourselves. And most likely, I'll be back here next week with more information, more news. Stay tuned for your local news on your local affiliates. That is, if you're in the Eastern time zone. So, this was a lot of fun. I can't remind you enough. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Don't unsubscribe. We're heading towards 5,000 subscriptions, folks. Woohoo! So, that does it. Good night, boys and girls. Catch you later. Hello, Carlos. I see you. I watched a couple of your videos this week. All right. Good night. Drive safely.